Hi, today is May 17th, 2018. I am Joyce Rockwood, and I'm here with the magnificent and beautiful Parry Adams, who is coming to us from Pittsburgh, PA. Parry is a professional vocalist and singer-songwriter, and we met a little over a year ago, March 1st, 2017, to be specific. And she came to me to one of my essential oils classes. Yay! And she had some very specific goals around addressing some serious blood sugar issues, and also wanting to get a little bit more of a grip on some weight loss goals. And so I welcome her here, and I'm very grateful for her being here today to share her story with you. So Parry, welcome.
Thank you.
So I thought it'd be great if you could just tell people a little bit about, your story. I think it started around the time you were 18, and the biggest shift and the biggest excitement for me was hearing that you said your numbers around your blood sugar are the lowest since being diagnosed. So when were you diagnosed?
I was diagnosed back in 1996, I had just turned 18, freshman year of college. So
what was the exact diagnosis then?
What's that?
What was the exact diagnosis you received at 18?
So at 18, I was diagnosed with diabetes. There's a whole strange story of my college doctor couldn't recognize the symptoms apparently, so it took me losing almost 20 pounds in a week, and being extremely dehydrated and couldn't even keep water down. And so my friends were like, we want to take you to the hospital. And I said, okay. So
and you were diagnosed with type 1 at that point?
Type 1, yes. So basically, when I got to the hospital, it was within 5 minutes of seeing the doctor that they said, oh, you have diabetes. And of course, immediate, just profound tears, because, it's a relief to have a diagnosis, but at the same time, diabetes is kind of a big deal. So, it was a lifestyle change, really. And the education that I got at the time wasn't really something that I could wrap my brain around, as far as they were using exchanges. So if you know what those are, you may understand that they're very confusing. So for my 18-year-old brain trying to adjust to college and this new disability that I have, I did okay at first, with testing my blood sugar all the time and trying to be aware of what I was putting in my body and how that was affecting me. And so from losing that 20 pounds before I went into the hospital, which was not a good thing, I gained probably 40 back, which is also not a good thing. And so for a long time, I was just trying to figure it out, and it wasn't working. And so I read a book that my mother had recommended to me probably 10 years ago. I don't remember the name of the book, but it was about basically if you're a diabetic, you shouldn't be a carb heavy sort of deal. And so that sort of changed my mind on things, and that was sort of working, but not really. And then I moved to New York, and I got a new endocrinologist, and this endocrinologist was like, oh, well, toss those exchanges just out the window, and you can do a ratio. So you just have to figure out what your ratio is. So my ratio for me is 10 grams of carbohydrate per 1 unit of fast-acting insulin. And, that's not difficult math. So as long as you can figure out your ratio, you're good to go. But then came the question of what kind of food am I eating that's making me not like the way I look because I'm not at the right weight for me. So that's like been another 10-year process of figuring out what I need to do for that, which is difficult. So, you know, as I thought, okay, well, maybe I'm bloating because I have a sensitivity to gluten. So I verged on gluten-free. And then I thought, well, I mean, that's sort of in the right direction, but it's not all the way there. Okay, so let's try paleo. And so I did paleo for a while, and that was, again, in the right direction, but it wasn't getting me where I wanted to be, and it wasn't making me feel the way I wanted to feel. So, you know, I met Joyce, and we started talking about the doTERRA essential oils, and she's like, well, you know, give this a whirl, see how it makes you feel, see how it works for you. So I have been on the I can't remember the name of it. The LV. I'm just going to use the abbreviation because that sticks in my mind.
For those who are new, Lifelong Vitality is the daily supplement.
Yes. Daily supplement, yeah. So I've been on the LLV since last March, so March of 2017. And I do feel good about how I'm feeling, like body-wise. And so Joyce sent me a protocol for type 1 diabetes, which I have been following, not to a T, but following, you know, in a way that it fits my lifestyle. So I have a roller blend.
Yeah, to make it work for your lifestyle, right?
Absolutely. So I have a roller blend that I put on my feet at night and in the mornings. And that actually does make me feel better, like throughout the day. It's like I don't know if it's a mental thing or if it's a physical thing, but it does make me feel like this is putting me, you know, in the right frame for my day life. It's putting me in the right frame for my sleeping and detoxifying night stage.
Do you remember exactly what's in that roller?
It is geranium, cypress, on guard, and rosemary.
Okay.
So all good things. And I mean, I will be truthful and say that I'm not in love with how it smells because it's very geranium.
Yeah.
Like geranium.
I'm with you on the geranium, by the way.
What's that?
I'm with you on the geranium, by the way. And personally, that's one of the reasons why I love the oils, right? It's because if we have something we're not crazy about the aromatics about, we can just go to the feet.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's the farthest point from the nose.
Yeah, so like, because I'm not a huge fan of the smell of the geranium, and it overpowers every other oil that's in there. The protocol calls for me to massage it into my feet with my hands.
Yeah.
And I have started not doing that. I've just been taking the soles of my feet and rubbing them together.
Like a cricket, like I say.
Yes, basically. I'm like a little cricket at night. So that works for me. And so I've been doing the roller, I've been doing the LLV, and then along with the LLV, I do a capsule, one of the veggie caps, that has the DDR Prime, Slim and Sassy. I take On Guard and lemon oil as well in there, and I do that in the mornings. The protocol calls for me to do it at night as well, but I haven't started doing that yet. But the protocol has been working for me, and it was making me feel better, but it wasn't really helping me to lose the weight that was making me feel like a not good person. Because, you know, I had been on the protocol since late March of 2017, which is a little over a year ago. And I looked at myself in August, and I was really unhappy with how my clothes were fitting and the way that I was looking in the mirror. And I wasn't happy with it, and I wanted to be happy with it. So, you know, then paleo goes out the window, and I started on a ketogenic diet in September. And it's not, I will say this, I am not a very strict keto person. I do a little bit of lazy keto, but it has been working for me.
Yeah.
A lot, like wonderfully. Like I get to eat bacon, which is very important for me in my life, because I love bacon. I have a t-shirt that states it. That is one thing that will never leave my life. It is bacon. But it's so a ketogenic diet, I will give you in layman's terms, is a high fat, regular amount of protein and very low carb diet. Now it's the opposite of basically everything that everybody has been telling me for my entire life. However, it works for me. And like all of the tests that my doctor has done for me since I've started this past September are my best results since I was diagnosed. And that was almost 21 years ago.
So let's get into particulars just for a moment before we wrap up, just to give people a sense of like the perspective. Your sugar levels are in a tighter range and less all over the place, right?
Yes.
What were the numbers of insulin you were doing per meal versus now?
So per meal prior to September was somewhere between 7 and 8 units of fast-acting insulin. And now I'm doing, as low as 2 per meal, as many as 4 or 5. It just depends on what I'm eating that day.
And then the long lasting, you were at what, 20 units?
I was at 20 for probably the past 10 years. And I've now reduced that by 2, and I'm considering reducing it by another unit. So I'm now at 18, and we're thinking about going down to 17.
Amazing. So the lowest number since you've been diagnosed, a loss of about 20 pounds.
Yes, just about.
How are you feeling?
I feel pretty good when I put on a dress and it's not tight.
Yeah.
Because I can't really afford to buy a new wardrobe.
That's always an incentive to stay on point with your good health habits, right?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. And
good health habits themselves and those rewards aren't enough.
Right. And I have reduced, so a key test for diabetes patients is called HbA1c. And I have reduced that by about a point since September. So, and that's a pretty big deal for me because I haven't been under 7 since I was diagnosed, and now I'm under 7. So that's amazing for me, and it can only, I think, get better. So
yes. So I'm looking forward to hearing about even more transformations. You're now thinking of even purchasing a home, right?
Yes. Yes.
You mentioned that.
On the docket.
So things looking up, right? Any other final thoughts you'd like to share with anyone who might be listening, who might be dealing with a similar diagnosis and maybe is feeling a little bit of a lack of possibility in their life?
Well, you have to do what's right for you, because the doctors, they may not give you everything that is available to you. I had to go out and find these things on my own. And if I can help one diabetic get to the place where I am as far as happy with how I'm looking and happy with how I'm feeling, then it's worth everything that I've gone through.
Yeah, I agree. Thanks, Parry, so much for sharing your story. And it just really, it's so moving. It's great to be connected to such a huge shift and know that, you know, this is not only possible for you, but anyone who's listening and they're curious to learn more, this is a great thriving example of what you can do. And, you know, your past doesn't have to be your future, right? Your present is your gift, and the future can be your transformation. So
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for sharing your story with everyone.
Well, thank you for having
me. Okay, we'll talk to you soon, everyone. Talk to you soon. Bye.